Welcome to New Yankee Homework. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the crawl space above our office before we continue on with the progress of our remodel. Let's get started. In a previous episode, I introduced everyone to our office project. This is going to be the second room in our homework series that we are actually working on fixing back up, remodeling if you will. But, that last video we walked through, we showed everything that we were going to get done. We started taking off the molding, some of the trim. In this episode, what we're going to be focusing on is figuring out exactly how we're going to do our closet organization. Let's go ahead, get to measuring. So I've got the closet cleaned out now of all the stuff that was in there. Let's see what we're working with. It's a pretty decent sized closet. I'd say there might be 2.5 feet. It's a pretty good depth. Like I can stand in here shoulder to shoulder and still have room. So that's pretty good. There's a lot of holes. The reason why there's a lot of holes, there was an organizer system in here, but it was set, it was set in a really weird way. I didn't like it, so I took it out and don't know if I'm gonna reuse it. I like to always keep things in case I'm gonna reuse them, but there's a lot of work to be done in here too, so I really don't know what I'm gonna be doing yet. But, like I said, there's plenty of holes. Hole there, hole there, hole there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 17 big holes. And then the remainder of the organizer system was there. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this out because it's really not secure anyway. So we're gonna start working in here. And we've got some things we've got to touch on. Textured sheetrock, which I absolutely hate this textured sheetrock. I despise it. And we might be able to put some trim over this and fix that. But I also don't know what kind of door we're going to be using yet. If we're going to keep that door, or if we're going to do a bifold, or defold and try maybe a pocket door. No, that's going to be too much work. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get started in here. Space or attic access. We don't really have an attic in this house as far as I know, at least. There's not going to be a lot of room, but my wife and I both want to make sure that we kind of get a look up here and see what everything looks like, to see and know what's up there. There's only 5 screws holding this door in, and I'm honestly recording this just in case something comes out and scares the crap out of me for some comedic value, or if something terrible happens and I die and I need something for posterity. So, this is not my last will and testament, but my wife, I love you. Hold that screw, and I'm going to scoot this way. Doesn't feel extra heavy. Doesn't feel like anything's on there. Here's rats, mice, snakes. No? Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's some dirt. Oh! There's a bunch of dirt. Looks like it might have been insulation. Well, in a time like the present, into the abyss. Alright, if there's anybody up here, rats, snakes, monsters, boogeyman, I'm coming up. I'm a nice guy. Please don't eat me. Okay? Okay. Last chance, if you're gonna scare me, do it now. I'm not wearing my brown pants. But, I trust you. Okay. Hello? You got any teeth? I have some dogs down here. Please don't eat me or my dogs. Hello? Hello? Okay. Guess nobody's here. Okay. Okay. I'll go get my camera now. Coming back. I'll be right back. If there's any monsters again, eat me. Hey, here I come. Gonna get you with your strobe light. Just, I'll get you. Just, okay, yeah, okay. It's just a crawl space, but, it's good to see what's up here because I can see that, you know, overhead electrical has been run, you know, especially in the office down there. That's where one of the lights is. Some wiring over there in that corner for the bathroom. So, you know, this is good to see because hopefully that means when we get down to doing our master bedroom fan that we can just go off into that corner and hopefully be able to get over there and install it and get access to things if we need it. So, you know, really not all too scary. But, if there's monsters that live up here, you can you could just stay up here. We'll leave you alone. I'll always knock. You know, like, monster, monster, monster. Okay. I'll see you later. Okay, bye. So there is actually a lot of space inside of this closet. It is a very wide space. It's also a very tall space, and it is a decently deep space. So what we're going to try and focus on, since there is the monster attic access right there, we don't really want to put anything along this wall that can't leave us access to the attic, that we can't just simply kind of like move out of the way. So we're going to start taking some measurements of the dimensions of the closet so I can plot and plan for later. So as of right now, I'm just going to take a quick measurement of the depth of the one side where we're going to try and maximize our vertical space. And from the corner to the outside, we're measuring about 20 2/16 plus the 3 inches for the tape measure, so about 23 inches and 2/16. Now for the depth, or I'm sorry, that was the depth. For the width of this area, we're looking at, I want to stay behind the door jamb, and we may put some trim on here. So I'm going to call my maximum depth about 15. And then for height, we have about 95.5 inches. So we have plenty of vertical space that we can take advantage of inside of this closet. So we're going to go ahead and take the rest of the dimensions and just come up with a game plan. I don't know what to do here.
The next step is to roll this storage cart into the closet to make sure that its dimensions will fit where I want it to. I'm planning on building the customized storage cabinet above this cart so we can still utilize the cart to roll in and out, but I just want to make sure everything fits and I can achieve what I'm looking to achieve.
Well, I suppose that is as good a place as any to start. We already have some storage solution that we've been using previously, but it just happens to fit inside of the closet space perfectly. Honestly, I just kind of tried it and it fit, so that's cool. So I think what I'm going to start with, again, because I'm trying to maximize this vertical space that we're using, I think I'm going to measure how tall this is, give it just a little bit of room to kind of play with, just in case you got to put your hand in there or something. You know, just, I don't want it completely butted up against. Just give it a little bit of room. So I think I'm going to mark that out, draw some lines, get some levels, get some measurements, and start from there. Okay, so I've done some measurements, and as much as I like to reuse materials as much as possible, I also think that it has to make sense and it has to work well. Realistically, what I was going to do was just cut down the original organizer, I'll call it a basket shelf, first, and get that as my bottom layer here just for the fact to reuse it. Really, that's really all I was going to do. But I think what I'm going to do now that I've taken my measurements, I think I'm going to actually go and buy some materials. I think I'm going to go ahead and try and get this built. I think I have an idea. I think I know what I want to use too. And here is what we're going to use to build our closet organizer, melamine panel. I have seen my stepdad use this before and make custom organizers. Hell, he's even made tables out of this stuff. So I definitely think that this is going to be sturdy enough to do exactly what I need. When I was at the store, once I finally found it, there was two options as far as depth, 15 inches or 12 inches. I had already measured to see that my maximum depth I wanted was 15, and the board itself was actually 15 3/4 of an inch deep, and I was like, all right, I could probably make that work. I might just have to do a rip cut down it and size it down. Well, I went to go pick it up and it was severely damaged, and they only had one. So we are going to build our organizer to a 12-inch depth. That's not really going to be a big deal. It's 3 inches. It's really not that much. That's what she said. And I'm going to try and go ahead and get this built. I think what I'm going to do is measure everything out again, just get a good idea of how I'm going to do it, and we'll see what happens. First time building anything from melamine and first time building any kind of organizer system. Let's see how it goes.
With the storage cart in place, I made sure to mark the top of the storage cart against the wall so that I could know where the lowest minimum point I could mount my cabinet to. I also made sure to roll the cart out of the way, draw a level line all the way across the wall, and then draw a second level line so I could make sure when I mounted my cabinet to the wall, I was aware that everything was going to be level. In theory. With the level lines marked on the wall and all of my measurements at hand, I got to work cutting all of my melamine panels. Using a framing square and my circular saw, I did my best to cut straight lines for my melamine panels, and also realized I should not have done this inside. With my target line on the wall, I then took out my stud finder so that I could mark the studs so that when I hung the wall cabinet, it would be secure in a stud and not just randomly through drywall and perchance. After having found my stud along my level line, I planned on using this ledger board to support the bottom of the cabinet so that it wouldn't run into the storage cart below, and that it would hopefully make my assembly easier. With 2 ledger boards secured to the wall, I laid my bottom panel across them so that I could then measure my total vertical distance or the maximum height that I could build the side cabinet out of. I'll have to admit that I had immense difficulty with this project, as much as it should have been simple, because of where I was making the cabinet in a small space that had about a 2/16 variation in width from front to back, and also being a textured wall. I found it very, very difficult to get the shelves the correct width with each cut. It was just very, very difficult to get the correct measurement because it would be different from front to back. So I just did my best to try and square everything up and make everything work the best that I could. Ultimately it did, but I did have some further issues which you will see later. With the cabinet assembled, I had actually missed one of the studs on the back wall by about 3/4 of an inch. I figured I could slide the cabinet out, put it aside, when tragedy struck. My cabinet literally imploded on itself. I was very upset at this point because I had been working for about 4 hours to get to this point, and for it to literally fall apart, I was worried everything was broken and I'd have to start completely from scratch, and nearly I gave up on the project, but I was able to fix it in the end.
So, after that explosive disaster, I'm very surprised I didn't just like rage quit. Internally, I knew it was coming. I was really ashamed of myself for doing it. I was trying to remove the whole unit as one, even though I hadn't gotten the other brackets on the bottom secured yet. The reason why I was trying to do that is because I missed the stud when I was installing the one wall panel. I thought it was 11 inches from the wall. It was 11 inches and 3/4. So I was hoping that I would just be able to remove the whole unit, run a stud through once using the stud finder, and, you know, just slide it back up. But then it kind of just went kablooey. Thankfully, though, it didn't damage any of the melamine, so the boards are still okay, but what it did do is egg out all of those brackets. It just ripped right through the brackets. These are made out of plastic, like everything else in the world these days. Thankfully, I had bought a second bag of them. Not for that reason, but just because I was like, I don't really know how I'm putting this up. Might as well get some corner brackets. So the other issue that I had was the leveling board that I was using that was mounted to the wall. I was kind of just using it to level everything and hold it in place until I could get some studs. Well, it wasn't having a good time leveling with just the 3 screws at the back trying to keep it level. It kept wanting to tip forward. So I was like, all right, well, I'll find another stud. I'll run it through. I didn't find another stud. I couldn't find another stud. And it really did not cross my mind that there wouldn't be some kind of a stud in this wall. It really didn't cross my mind. I was like, yep, I'll just have to find a stud and we'll be good. So I went stud finding, or at least I tried to, and I ended up just putting a whole bunch of holes in the wall and finding no stud. So I came out to the outside of the wall, I measured, and I realized the drawer jamb is built off of the next stud. It's smart, good way to do it. I didn't think about it. I just thought there'd be another stud there. So I thought I was screwed. I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I need something to hold the weight of the wall if there's no stud there. What am I going to do? So I went harvesting. So it's a rather wide board. Unfortunately, it is some soft wood and it has split in some areas, but I do think the 6 screws in the studs is going to hold that weight. If it doesn't, I don't know what else I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to give it a shot. Gonna have to just use that. Yeah, gotta do what I gotta do. Onwards and upwards. I'm gonna try and put this back together again without it explosively falling apart. And after about 5 hours yesterday and some mistakes along the way, I'll be honest, explosive mistakes at times, there was a big learning curve on this, but I still got it finished. Off camera today, I was able to get a couple of things finished, which really was just cutting down the shelves and getting those in, and recutting, and shimming, and getting everything together. So it was a lot of like finicky work. It wasn't really anything that was going to affect what you actually saw. So, are you ready for the end product? Let's take a look. We have the whole organizer system done and installed. And I was able to reuse our storage containers underneath like I had initially wanted to. There were quite a few hurdles I had to get over with this project. One being that there's no stud inside of this wall here that I could anchor my level plate or my security plate, if you will. I just had to anchor it from the furthest outside points that I could, and it seems to be holding all the weight right now perfectly fine. I was able to find my studs on the other wall, so the other wall plate is secure. This whole organizer system does still allow me the possibility to make some adjustments. So if it's something that I don't like the way it's laid out for now, in the future, I can always make any changes. It's the whole reason why I wanted to do it this way. The hurdles along the way being that it is a textured and unsquare wall inside of the closet. So that made a lot of the dimensions I was trying to get inaccurate for the best of it. So because of all of the texture, wherever I was making any kind of measurement across the wall, unless I measured it in the exact same place, it was going to be different. And the entire run from front to back would change those measurements anyway. So I just kind of did the best I could, but overall, I'm very satisfied with everything. For my first time building such a project, it could have gone worse, that's for sure. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. New Yankee does it, and feel free to leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you stay caught up with the New Yankee homework playlist. Also go and check out all of our other playlists that we have, New Yankee Projects and New Yankee Auto Systems. For now though, I'll see you on the next one.